Yeah. But neon out the mud. Before I get it out the mud, I stay on top of my fitness and hit the shower, clean it up, and then get back to the business. I don't care about who did it, I ain't worried who didn't. I head directly to the back, so I'll be there in a minute. I got expensive taste, the rollie got a different face. For surely I be in them places, they won't let you pass the gate. Post it up, sipping $1,000 scotches with the rock in it.
What's the name of the grow operation?
Tower Three.
Tower Three. How long has Tower Three been in business?
Like I would say three and a half years. I've been with them for a little over 2 years. I feel like they were growing for about a year.
Do you have any problems with mold?
Problems with mold? No, not particularly. I mean, it's a constant threat, and it's something.
Oh
that,
yeah, it is. It's like DEFCON 4. You know what I mean?
No, it's not that bad for us, but it's like certain strains are more difficult than others when it comes to mold. But it hasn't really been a huge issue for us. In the consulting work that I've done, I've seen a lot of mold.
You hear him?
With the right parameters, it's not that bad.
How long have you been into weed? Before you started growing it?
Before I started growing it.
Were you just smoking it, cultivating it, selling it?
All of it, but I mean, I started smoking weed when I was probably like 10 or 11 years old.
Me too.
And I was really into it, obsessed with it until So when I was maybe like when I was like maybe 17, my little brother started to introduce some weed plants into my life. He's 2 years younger than me.
17?
Yeah, my brother was like 15. You had to have a job to like be in my parents' house basically. And like my brother's first job was at a plant nursery, and everyone there grew weed. My brother kind of broke those barriers, and I saw like weed plants and kind of the non-threatening nature of growing, you know? And it was really my understanding of weed strains. I grew up in New York City.
I was just gonna say,
and I saw a lot of
What part of New York?
Lower East Side. So like I saw a lot of weed strains. I had access to a lot of weed from a young age. And then after 9/11, I was like a freshman in high school. 9/11, I was going to Brooklyn Tech, like a public school in Brooklyn, like a magnet school, and I loved it. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, you know. And you could buy weed in the cafeteria at that school. Like you could get weed anywhere. And then like it became more and more complicated, like post 9/11 Manhattan and school and shit.
Things got a little tight.
What school are you going to? You can buy fucking weed at lunch.
Brooklyn Tech. It was a good school. It was a good place to be. It was a magnet school, so you had to test to go there. But like Stuyvesant, this other school, they went to our school. We had like half days for like 3 months. The air in my neighborhood was pretty bad. My family started to get sick. My parents were like, everyone was like, you got to move. We ended up moving basically over the night to Connecticut. In Connecticut, I was like a real city kid. And
you moved into Pumpkinville?
I moved to some like really like...
Pumpkinville.
No, not even like just like some like...
So what kind of school was this? You said it was like a special
Was it a
school. You
liberal
had to
arts
test to get in.
It was a magnet school, but it was a high
does
school, but it's a magnet
magnet
school.
mean?
In New York, like basically there's all these different public schools, right? But there's certain ones that are like good, and you can take tests. You like take a test,
Aptitude
get in.
test?
And it's like sort of a lottery because like you have to pick which one is your priority. Like if
Some
you
like
pick,
the
if you
vocational
pick the
schools
top
now.
one, and then you don't get into that one, like
You get the second choice?
you don't necessarily get the second choice.
Oh,
you
you
might
could-
get pushed to the third choice. You should have picked the second choice as your first choice if that's what you were gonna hit.
You could get
You know what I
screwed.
mean? So like it's like, and then one's in Manhattan, one's in Brooklyn, one's in the Bronx. I went to the one in Brooklyn,
Public schools?
public school.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, basically I moved to Connecticut. It was a total belly flop. I did not fit in, and weed was like it was something that I was already into, and it was an easy way to just kind of have like a social lubricant and fit in, and it just became a economy and an interest. And then me and my brother were always just crazy potheads. Like we were just obsessed with weed and weed strains.
Did you start using your the people you knew in New York when you moved to Connecticut to start?
Oh yeah. Oh no, yeah. I was back and forth.
You were the weed
constantly.
man when you showed up.
Yeah, that's just how it sort of evolved. And then, you know, I was bringing in exotic from New York. So like people's parents would pull me aside and be like, hey, so like, don't say anything to Justin, but like, where is this exotic purple coming from? You know? So I'd be like pumping QPs to everyone's dad.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I was crushing it. It broke my parents' heart. It was upsetting for them.
Oh, how did they find out?
Because like their friends would be like, yo, your son gets the absolute exotic fire. You know? And like, my brother was an idiot. He would get arrested all the time too. So that like, and like
He brought the heat.
Yeah, he brought a lot of heat to my life. He broke down barriers and got me where he got me comfortable, but he also,
Ran a little
Were your
reckless.
parents cool with it?
My parents were cool with smoking pot. Selling pot, they did not like. My parents, basically, my parents' thing was do your homework, work a job, pay for your own weed. We're not telling you to support it, but if you're gonna do it, we're not buying it for you.
Yeah. Get your ass to fucking
You
work.
know?
Yeah.
Right?
And if you weren't fucking up, otherwise, my parents didn't really care.
That sounds like old school parenting. That's the way to do it.
Sounds like they were
It
pretty
was
good.
cool. Yeah, no, my parents they had a very
They
cool,
teach you not
good
to be a
philosophy.
bum.
My dad would be like, "Don't drink my beer," so he'd go out and get us a 30 rack, so we'd have our own. Well, we'd have to pay for it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Old Joe, he don't
You don't
care.
drink my beer. You get your own.
Oh, I like when you.
What's he, Chinese now?
but yeah, it became an obsession. And
That's
then
my Portuguese accent.
by the time I moved to Boston, I came with pounds ready. As a freshman going to college, I brought a couple pounds of New York exotic, just planning on hitting the bus every couple days, just because I don't know, that's where my mind was.
You
I couldn't get
moving
over
weed
that
on the bus?
all the time.
The Funwa bus, Rob. That
All the
was
time.
the
Fun Wa?
Yeah.
I would drive weed. I would do the.
I can see this dude on the fun walk.
Funwa bus. Oh man, it was that was the way. It dropped you right in Chinatown. It was awesome.
How many times did it break down though when you've been on?
Oh, not that many. A handful.
Few trips.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's guaranteed.
Not
It's
that
fine.
many each trip.
Before Lee rips me a new one, I gotta roll this thing out. Episode 31, the How Ya Doin Show.
How you
We're
doing?
here with James Wormser, teaming with Terps, head grower at Tower 3, making a statement in Massachusetts. You guys got some of the best commercial product on the market right now.
How you doing?
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, how you doing?
How you doing?
I want to know how you're testing, actually, because
Yeah.
we tested some of your products, and
Right.
I know this is a first for us. Usually, we only have people come on the show that when we test their product on the Orange Photonics machine, that's how we get brands to come on.
it's pretty accurate.
Yep.
We calibrated.
Right, and I've tested your guys. This isn't the first time trying to buy your guys' stuff, you know, to get it to pass because I like you guys' product. It's a great product. It's not harsh. It's it's grown properly. It's dried properly. It's packaged properly. It's when a consumer. A lot of these people are missing it from the picture that they take of with it growing. By the time when you get it in the jar, it's most of the time it's two completely different things.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That's part of the getting it to the consumer and it still being good.
That's a rough part.
Almost completely separate from growing good pot. It's a whole nother beast, and I've gone through it a few times here, and it doesn't happen overnight. And you I don't know if there's a way to do it without fumbling a little bit, maybe, but it takes some nuance, and especially
Took the
in
words
our
out of my
environment.
mouth right there, because we have tested a bunch of people and gone to a bunch of different places, and a majority of the weed that you buy at any of these dispensaries tastes like hay.
Yep.
It smells like hay.
Yeah.
Your weed does not smell like hay. I gotta say, it's very respectful.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
But
I mean,
on the testing end of it,
Right.
we tested some of these products and they were close. What are we supposed to be within 10%?
Yeah, 10%, and they were off quite a bit. There's a lot of new developments in testing now that's been coming down through the CCC. You can only use one lab per sample. Like you can't send out like a moisture
right.
potency test to this lab and
Yeah, you can't piece it out.
piecemeal and
Yeah.
you can't piecemeal a test and put it on one. Now the lab has to upload the COA which I thought was weird that they didn't have to upload the COA to the metric tag
Right.
for the product before.
Yeah. That's not my part generally of the puzzle, but yeah, exactly.
Right?
It makes no sense. But honestly, while that sounds like something, it's still the same COA getting uploaded to the same place.
right.
So it's not, but
Now it's available for the consumer now, supposedly. Now, if they...
it was always available for the consumer if they asked for it. But yeah, so.
But some of these people don't want to give it.
No, they don't make it easy. They don't make it easy. But yeah, I have so much to say about this. And
Wow.
So was it off, up, or down?
Well, let me get through this. So I know by smoking weed, I don't read the label to figure out if the weed's good or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't go by a THC.
It doesn't matter the percentage.
Right.
All that shit's
Trust me.
smoke and mirrors, sales tactic, gimmicks.
Yeah.
So that's why you guys even failed, but I'm like, I got to have them on anyway. And maybe we can talk about testing. And I know you guys even talked about changing labs recently to try to get more accurate testing on your guys' label.
Yeah, and it's not the first time. I think part of it for us is our focus has not been on tack. Our focus has been on safety and cleanliness. So across the board, even from those critical, it is known and also confirmed that our microbial yeast mold testing has all been legitimate throughout. And sort of that, to me, I came to Tower 3, they were growing in containers. I transitioned them into beds.
Yes.
Very quickly.
Big
And so,
beds.
yeah, and to grow in living soil, and that's a big microbial risk. So we really were vetting labs, looking to make sure our weed was clean. And I grow the right strains, and we have a pretty dialed
You have
environment.
red wigglers in there
And-
too?
Oh, yeah. I got maybe 7 species
Everybody
of
loves them
red
damn red
wigglers.
wigglers,
Yeah.
man.
They're composting nerds, you know?
Yeah.
They're beasts. They're
There's a
workhorse.
lot of bugs that are really beneficial for the soil. And,
Absolutely.
You know,
So-
if you got it seems like you got it down because
Yeah.
the weed looks very professional.
So we're taking advantage of all that. I think as far as the aesthetic goes, we're still working on improving and evolving our post-harvest to continue to improve in that. I think there's a lot of really beautiful weed in Massachusetts. I think that our weed smokes very well.
I don't care if it's
and,
beautiful.
and so like that's I think our strength. I'm hoping as a team we're working on continuing to improve the aesthetic, honestly, because there's always room to improve, and there always will be. But yeah, so when we were basically when I came to Tower 3, they were working with one lab. They had what I would consider to be reasonable, within the realm of possibility, accurate results. That lab went under, and they started with a new lab. I'm not naming names, but this new lab they had just started with when I started at the facility, and I was hired there to an existing business that was doing well and making good choices, and not many people were. So they didn't hire me to rebuild the place. They hired me to run it, right? And so
Right.
I wasn't there to change everything the moment I got
you
there.
were there to get it going.
Yeah,
right?
so
Takes a little
yeah, I
time.
mean so
you can't change the world in a day.
I digress, but like I get there and they just started with this new lab, and the numbers start coming in higher and higher. And at first it wasn't that bad, but then it started to get worse and worse. And I'm telling them the whole time, I'm like, you guys, this is going to alienate you. This doesn't look right. It's not possible. And so I really I put my foot down for what's right. You know what I mean? And I'm lucky to work in a place where I don't have to fight for what's right. From
You're
a moral,
lucky that they
from
let
a
you
moral
do it.
standpoint, because there's other places where really it's a moral fight to just do the right thing.
Oh,
and so that's
yeah.
not the battle that I'm having there. However, I didn't like the way the testing looked, and it looked stupid, and it wasn't correct. And we were growing some of my strains and releasing them for the first time. And basically, one of my strains, Butterwolf, it came out. I love this strain. I was so excited to have it there. The labeling on some of the first testing people saw was 42% tech. And we all know that there is no 42% tech. That doesn't exist, and I don't want it to exist. But the logistics are tough. We're a small business. We're selling out our weed. We have good momentum. You know what I mean? Like as a business steering a ship, and not me, James, personally being offended, we weren't going to hold that weed to restart the testing process. That weed was going out, you know?
Right.
And I was the one that had an issue with it the most, you know? So eventually the owner of this lab comes to our facility to visit. This is in, a couple of weeks after. Oh, wait. I forgot about the part where I got shredded on Reddit for the Butterwolf being 42% tack. And being
Somebody
an
called you out
absolute
on
joke.
there?
Oh, it's posted on there with 100 comments. It's still there. If you type in Butterwolf, it's one of the first things that comes up to this day.
So you heard it here first, people. He didn't want the 42%.
So while opposing these numbers, I'm also being shredded for them online publicly. So it's not the greatest position for me. I would love for all the labs to be standardized and me feel like I can get a safe valuation and everyone gets the same one, because my weed would already test high. And what happens is, because my weed already tests high, you put it into this poorly calibrated / slanted machine, that's making someone with normal numbers or low numbers look good makes me look like a total asshole.
Right.
I'm still in the same 6, 7
And
labs that everyone else is using. I just look the worst. And the reason is because my weed is actually testing well naturally. And I would benefit so much from everyone getting the same testing.
Right.
And that's all I want. Like,
You would too.
I would still be, my weed would still be high. It would still be high. This
Right.
whole thing, like, and then I get pinned as the poster child of fake testing when it's just like, it's because my numbers were already good.
Why they had you pinned as the poster child?
Well, no, that's just maybe how I feel, but the way I see it on Reddit, the way there's certain people I've interacted with where I've been told that, I'm a big proponent of falsified TAC testing. And like, look, our numbers are too high, so I can't say that it's not warranted. I stand by the weed. I can't really stand by
the numbers.
the numbers. I never cared about the TAC. I sold weed my whole life. I never told someone the TAC, not one time. Now, when MCR Labs, the first lab, first opened and was doing testing, it was like a cool new thing. I was growing weed. It was illegal. There was no legal places. I started bringing my weed there to get tested. Not because that made it sold, but it was just like, oh, we can get our weed tested. Like, you know what I mean? You want to see what it is. And yeah, exactly.
wanna see
You're
where
reading,
you're at.
you're reading High Times
and
magazines
honestly,
and shit. And,
exactly. I met so many people. Honestly, I brought that GG4 there, and the lab director's like, who are you? Where did this GG4 come from? Like, you know what I mean? And that's what it ended up being, my relationship with those people that networked me into my first job in the industry as the industry basically started. But the numbers
GG4 is
themselves.
smooth.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's.
I'm already steamed. I only have like 6 brain cells left anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's,
I don't even say that many, but
6 is a lot.
Yeah, he's reaching.
yeah,
I'm
right.
reaching.
Would you borrow a couple?
I got a loan.
You got him out on loan.
Yeah, right.
But yeah,
that
so
back.
on the packaging, when you put the weed in, when you package it, what are you starting with the moisture content when you package it? Because I think that's some of the people, that's where they're blowing it. A
Right.
lot of these people, because they're putting a little too much in, and things are festering in there.
See, that's what
Yeah.
people don't know that or they like don't understand, or maybe they're just plain ignorant.
They'll
Like
overlook.
weed's a produce.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And if you bag anything too wet and seal it, and
absolutely.
leave it for they say a year. Like you're testing good for a year. Like come on.
Looks like you guys are 10 months. You guys do your labeling, right?
Maybe I think it's a year, but our weed sells out fast.
Is this raspberry mango?
Yeah.
Actually, how long does the raspberry mango take on the vine over there?
We take everything pretty much 10 weeks.
10 weeks?
Yeah. Yeah, we go a little further than most commercial spots. Everything we do takes a little bit longer,
Going a
but
little bit longer is not a bad idea at all.
no, I mean, I think plants
You go
do-
when the globules are completely full.
So I personally, I'm kind of on my own on this, but I don't look at trichome maturity.
You don't get
for
a
harvest.
like a
No,
little, what do you
I
do?
hate that.
What do you, just
You
give
don't
it a-
like the jewel.
I don't like that. I just think it's overhandling, and I think it's a misconception altogether. Because like you're set up top to bottom and one strain to the next. You may have amber trichomes, no amber trichomes, cloudy, all that stuff. The percentage could be different from top to bottom.
Well,
side to
different
side.
people are doing different things,
And-
and some of it, even if they're doing different things, it still works.
Yeah, no,
what I
absolutely.
mean?
There's a million ways to come to it, but for me, I'm looking for the best possible flavor,
Right?
and that's all I really am hunting for. So, trichome maturity doesn't necessarily directly correlate to peak flavor, right? So
That's
there's-
why you got to go a little longer.
well, there's like a window where you want to be in to get the peak flavor, and over time, you find out where that is for a
Have you
specific
ever gone
plant.
too long?
Oh yeah, all the time. I mean, there's some plants I like to see a plant that's fully ripe and fully mature, and so like there's some plants that they lose their flavor by the time they're fully physically mature, and that's like a good example of where my sort of philosophy comes from. Is like, okay, you take a plant like GMO, okay, GMO, raw, chem, garlic, funk, right?
No good.
But to me, in my opinion, between 9.5 to 10, maybe 10 to 10.5 weeks
Maybe
is
11.
like perfect punch flavor, sharp bite. After that, but it will still have white hairs on it at that time. The trichomes, the glands, the whole thing is physically not mature, but that is the window where that weed tastes the best. Now, I hate doing that. So I've taken that plant 12 weeks just because I want it to look finished before I take it down. And I take it that far, and then it's literally dudded and has half
you
the
would
flavor.
went by the station at that
Missed the
point.
window. Yeah. So for me, like, it's about getting to know a plant. It's about that's plant's parents, and you just have to try a couple different things. And sometimes it's being taken out of your comfort that leads you to the
Hey, sometimes
proper
you
timing.
fail, man.
Yeah, but I have found that most weed that I really like is ripe around 9 weeks and can benefit from about one more week.
What is this?
Gorillas.
What is his weed?
The GG.
Gorilla.
9 weeks?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of great weed is finished around 9 weeks, but fully ripe and even better at 10 weeks. So 10 weeks is a good place for us to get plants fully mature and then have a little bit wider of a scope of plants that we can run compared to most places that are running a 8 or 9 week cycle. There's plants that I just think we're able to get a better expression or more plants that we can
Well, some
consider.
stuff's got to go longer than others. You
Yeah,
know what
I think
mean?
the black maple is a good example of like a plant that we run, that a lot of other people run, that I think really does benefit from that extra week. So I'm like, if there's going to be crossover, we don't want a ton of crossover on our menus, but if we're going to have crossover, I think black maple is a good one because our environment and SOP is conducive to that.
Very
plant.
lemony on the tea time.
Yeah, the tea time is like super. It's almost like a tea. It's like it's a very Z forward expression. Definitely citrusy. Most fruit weed isn't my favorite, but the tea time, the Z is something special.
It's like lemon flesh pledge.
It has
Lemon Fresh Pledge.
Yes.
it has a very zingy sort
Rick,
of
you gotta smell
zest
this.
thing. But yeah, the mouth
in
coat
the
on
jar.
it is incredible. I can't stop
Pass it
smoking that
over.
weed.
Let's see, Rick. Get a look at this, Rick.
Rick, well, I want to know what you said. Look,
Yeah, we gotta
just
see what
tell
Rick's
us
palate
Don't
is.
think about anything I just said. Stick your nose in and tell me what it smells like.
Can't unthink that.
No.
Smell my cigar on my fingers.
Yeah.
Smells like cigars.
Yeah.
What are you getting there, Rick?
Rick's got a big
I got
his
a-
beak in there. He's
Definitely furniture cleaner, without a doubt.
like lemon fresh pledge, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's
I love the smell of pledge.
the pre-roll that we have of that. I had one recently, and I
You
like
guys actually have a good pre-roll?
our pre-rolls are amazing. Actually, we don't really talk about it as much as we should, but
Oh, because
we use really nice bee bud, and
the pre-roll market out there is kind of weak.
it's terrible, but ours are good. But the tea time, I like to take a dry tug of a pre-roll or a joint just to
Dry
taste
hit it. Yeah.
And so the tea time pre-roll, if I hadn't grown that weed and seen the process, I would have promised you it was a spray pack.
No
'Cause
shit.
there's so much flavor. There's
It does
so
have a lot
strong.
of flavor.
It's like literally, it's crazy.
Was that 10 and a half weeks?
That's 10 weeks.
10 weeks.
Yeah. 10 weeks.
That's what Cran likes.
So
to
when'd you
run.
come down to the area?
He does.
Come down to this area.
Yeah.
I came to Boston in 2005. Yeah, 2005. Since the legal, I've been involved in cannabis here since I got here, but I've been in the legal industry since I think end of 2012. I was at one of like the first cultivation facilities. in the
What'd you do
state.
before that?
I worked in commercial agriculture and I ran an art gallery.
Front.
Kind of art.
One of them had to be a front.
You know, it's funny, you see a lot of-
I did it all.
Yeah.
There was side projects, you know. It was
Sold
like
hot dogs on the side.
modern contemporary, like urban contemporary. Like maybe like a lot of the people that I show like have a history with graffiti art. Maybe that's not what they're showing exactly, but it has an influence from that.
So you paint yourself, or did you just sell it and stuff?
No, I just sold art. I had a lot of friends that were artists that didn't have much business acumen, and I was trapping out of this apartment in the North End, and people would come by, and I have these crazy paintings, and there's just a lot of interest in them, and then I happened upon this really cool apartment, and I needed a reason to have it, and so I'm like,
Needed a
Needed
cover.
to make the
I'm
cash.
like, I needed a reason to take it on. So I'm
Right.
like, I could sell my friend's art. Everyone always asked me for it. None of these guys could sell anything. They just want to smoke weed and paint.
Were you getting all the money?
Yeah.
You
And
getting all
so-
the money for the art?
So what
Yeah, I
makes
did-
it?
I
What
did
makes
very well.
You're getting
what
all
makes
the
art
money for it.
expensive? Like I look at like 3 different pictures, and one could be like
Yeah.
1.2 million, and the other one's like fucking $8.
It's honestly at that $1 million range. $1 million range. It's like a cultural thing.
Status,
But
statement.
Is it because of the name?
yeah, it's because of the name and the brand. It's like a brand thing at that point. But for the artists that I was showing like local people that I knew and was friends with, that I was like invested in, like sort of emerging to mid-career artists. So those people, the value is really created in what the demand is. Like some people knew what their value was just by selling paintings. If you approach people and approach situations trying to sell paintings over time, they sell in a certain range. And if you can commit to that range and sell paintings in that range, you start to see that the value, the perceived value becomes real. So like I had a buddy that was really living off of it like week by week. And so his paintings, he made very affordable. He sold a lot of paintings on the street for a long time, just like on Newbury Street. And then he knew exactly how much money he could get for a certain size, style of painting. And he would price his paintings to move. And maybe between $500 and $2,000, he could sell, like, I could fill a room and bring in a crowd and sell them all in one night, like 20, 30 pieces. You know what I mean? And then there's other artists that would maybe went to art school, graduate school, maybe had a different approach. Each painting was like $5,000. Some of those shows would sell out too. And if you have whatever 20 paintings that are all between $2,000 to $5,000, you do pretty well.
What's Bob Ross paintings going for, Rob?
Yeah,
we got an ongoing joke with
Rick,
Bob Ross. Rob, your girls, we won't talk about that. They're freaking. They got Bob Ross in a scissor lock.
I'm just thinking about my 60 games.
Yeah, they got,
It's a happy bush.
Oh my god.
Rob had to tell Bob Ross, get out of the way. I didn't know you were here too.
We got somebody get Rick another drink. Do you have enough drink over there?
Yeah.
Can I get you some more?
Yeah. So you said the testing lab that the one that measured you guys at 42%, they shut down?
No, they're still in business. We stopped.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I thought that was the one that shut down. Usually they stay in business.
Oh, yeah, I got lost on that. So,
Bring them back.
okay, so
Good job, Rick.
So homie comes to visit. Everyone's all happy. Like, he brought food and snacks for the team, some gifts for the owners, and I come from the back and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? These guys talk to you about TAC yet? And he's like, no. And this is a place I've only been working a couple months. I don't really know these people. I know my value, but like, I'm not trying to alienate myself or these people. And I for 15 minutes, I basically berated this man on his practices and that he was making me look like an asshole and having me shredded over numbers that benefited other people and not me. I'm like, look, you're obviously inflating the numbers and it's benefiting everyone else. I need to be within the realm of possibility. I'm like, I don't even care. I really don't care about the numbers. They mean nothing to me, but they need to be within the realm of possibility. And I came up with that in the moment, and now it's become my coin
Well,
phrase.
you can have realistic
The
expectations.
realm of possibility.
I'm like, yeah, the realm of possibility.
I like that
I'm like,
line.
please keep me within the realm of possibility.
I like that.
Yeah, but at least
that's all
you're
I
in the
can say.
record books
Like,
now for the highest.
Well,
So, Ricky, such a car salesman.
the whole thing sucks. Dude. And then, the whole thing is perpetuated. Buyers, they're going to try to come at you with, if you have a higher number, your weed is worth more. If you have a lower number, your weed is worth less. That's how people shop and sell weed. I could say, our numbers aside, we sell all our weed for the same price, regardless of testing. It's all sold for one price. And I think that does more to
That does
level
more
the
to
market.
stabilize the industry than anything.
Exactly. So
That's what the people are missing.
that's all it is. If you go to a dispensary and the highest TAC weed is the highest price weed, and you're going to stand there and tell people that that's not the best weed, they're never going to believe you. So like the only thing you can do if you want to make it right now, all you have to do is make your pricing based off the quality of your weed and not the TAC. And then that's what's reflected in the culture. And that's what people will learn and understand.
Sounds about right.
So like we haven't focused our lab priority on TAC. It just happens to be that all these labs, in order to earn business, inflate their numbers more and more over time. And so like we get to a point where we're comfortable doing business with a certain team, and there's a lot of benefit to that. The turnover time, the pickup,
You need
the whole
something
thing,
quick.
the communication. Like we're a small company. We don't want to fill out 1,000 forms.
Relationships are important.
Yeah. And I think that especially for the company, I feel like good relationships really played a role. And if we felt like the testing was clean and accurate to mold, like I'm telling you, I switched the whole facility into into a means of growing that's more where there's more
Vulnerable?
potential, more vectors for risk. So
A lot more risk.
I used like 4 or 5 labs at first, right across the board, to get
To see
microbials
what-
to make
who?
sure what we were doing was going to work. Because I was about to implement it across a whole facility.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't implement it across the whole facility until I get the truth. And honestly, I sent the same thing to 5 different labs and everything came up clean. And I was puzzled. I did not know if it was real or not.
Right.
I had no idea.
You got to take their word.
And I was not confident. I honestly was not confident that was
You
real.
didn't think it was going to work, huh?
I mean, no, I know that it works and that it's ethically, morally sound, but I don't know if it's truly. I didn't know, especially at that time, if it was truly passing
Well, it seemed to hold
microbial
water,
and
right?
use mold testing through the machine, or if everyone was cooking the books. It was hard for me to say, and so I don't personally care about numbers. I don't sell weed by numbers.
You guys have a dispensary too?
No, we don't. We just grow weed, which I think is
Wholesale.
really nice. Yeah, and like the cool thing about us too, the logistics, like we talked about, like having good weed in the jar when it gets to the consumer. Like we had growing pains on that, hiccups on that, but because of the way that we do things now, because of the way that we sell, because of our cycle and our size, we're able to basically sell out one harvest as we introduce the next. It's like a 3 to 4 week cycle.
Growing what the market is bearing.
Our weed goes out fresh. We're not expanding. We continue to do that. If there's a dispensary that isn't doing as well with our product and over ordered, not only are we taking back the older ace from them, we're limiting their order next time.
Because that's going to give you a bad name.
Yeah, so
Steel
now we're at a point where we're like, maybe you're going to get a smaller order, and you can reorder in 2 weeks.
It's like those
And
sandwich
we'll
shops.
make sure your shit's
they only
fresh.
make X amount.
Yeah, so
And that's it. Once they're out, they're
That's
out.
about right.
we
Those are
fall
the
into a
best
good rhythm
sandwiches.
now where our weed sells, and we're limiting orders to try and keep it fresh in stores, and we're trying to mitigate anything that got old
You're
that
not
shouldn't be out
overflooding
there.
it.
That's like with the produce. A lot of these other brands, which I'm finding because I got 5-year jars here. All the stuff's fresh. It's squishy. It's green. It's got no, discolored look. No fucking stinky, shitty smell to it. So a lot of these places, they think it's cool to have weed on the shelf for a year. So they probably bump up the moisture, and then in like 2-3 months,
Well,
it's junk, dude.
That was part of it too. Honestly, even for us, like we were growing great weed, and by the time it got to the consumer, it was dry. And I think it still retained more flavor than most other things on the market, and
Very
maybe even more
fine line
moisture.
right there.
But yeah, it's tough, especially when you're trying to
Get it right.
make it through the system and get it to the consumer, and it goes into some random vault somewhere. You have no idea the conditions. But even in our own vault and in our own packaging room, we were honestly losing a lot in there. We added full environmental, we added full environmental controls to all of the spaces that the weed was in, which we
You're
had
conditioning
overlooked
and
in certain
humidifying it to a
places.
certain
Yeah.
percentage on each of the rooms.
Yeah, and like, we added air sanitizers in all of the rooms, in the vault, in every single room. You know what I mean? And not because we were failing testing, but we were implementing practices that could potentially introduce risk, and we were doing everything we could. So I learned from the right people.
Right. So-
like Matt Iarusi, he helps a lot of people with their facilities. I basically saw from him
Can of clean, yeah. Great guy, real knowledgeable
absolutely.
about
Yeah,
that stuff.
That's the right guy. So I had done a little bit of it in the past, but he was doing forced air testing, and so like I do forced air testing repeatedly in our rooms and
Checking your
in our
environments.
vault, and confirming and reconfirming that the air is clean. And like these are the standards that should be implemented, that people should care about. Like the CCC should be going in and taking an air test in your room and telling you if your air is clean, and telling the company if it's not, you have to make it clean. And then the growers wouldn't have to work so hard in shitty conditions to try to make weed that doesn't have mold in it. The mold is being caused by the environment, and the environment could be regulated.
You are a product of your environment.
So back to
What do
the
you
guy.
think about
Back to the guy that you said you were rated for like 15 minutes.
so
what do you say after that?
Oh, he was just like, I've never heard anyone ever ask me this. This is like totally weird. You're really throwing me off. I've never done, we're not inflating anything.
Okay.
All of our things are
Okay.
whatever. And then they continue. And the thing is that we're not a big enough client to calibrate a machine for us. You know what I mean? If you're
Every
a big,
convicted
if you're a big
murderer
enough
says
spot,
they're not guilty.
So did you test that same product somewhere else, and what did it come up at?
I don't know about that.
Just to kind of prove him wrong?
Also the Butterwolf. So the Butterwolf that he tested at 42, I would say is naturally, realistically, about 27%, maybe 30 on a good day, 31.
Ooh, my boy's patting that, huh?
You know, like
Sounds a little juiced.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the labs, it's
look,
crazy.
it's
They're out for their own self-interest too. So
it's in their interest and not in mine. If everything was standardized and the numbers were accurate, my weed would be looking good in the top tier with no question or
I think it'd be right in there.
or
Right in there.
Yeah,
I
but
have
the
no
other
doubt.
side, to that is people are gonna want to go test that. Like, let me see if this shit's really 42.
Of
I
course.
really want to go test it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to.
So I don't think it's going to really. I understand what you're saying, but it's not going to really take away. Business wise, it's going to make it pop.
Yeah. It's not. It goes both
But I
ways.
understand where you're coming
It goes
from, and
both
you want to
ways.
be you want it
Yeah.
to be legit. But
I think like for us, like it's really an informed consumer that's invested in cannabis that's bothering to spend more premium money on an eighth. So I think we're alienating people more than we're enticing them in the price point that we're at. I think at a lower price point, probably there's more an interest in people tax shopping. In ours, I don't think it's helpful. All I'm saying is there's a lot of other factors that go into the picking a lab and working with a lab than what your number is. And we can't operate focusing on that, and we haven't. If they were regulated and giving us proper numbers like they should, I wouldn't have to worry about it. It's
Well,
not my
we
job.
have a guy. We had a guy on the show, the scientist,
Yeah.
and he analyzed the data from hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
of different numbers.
oh Yasha,
Great
Yes,
guy.
very smart.
Yeah.
So shout out to Yasa.
Yasha.
I've had
he
long
no
conversations
dummy,
with
that
him.
guy.
He looked great guy, great team. Those guys are the point and case for. I mean, it's impossible to operate a lab and
He
not.
pulled the numbers on him. He did.
Nah.
so
inflate-
why wouldn't you want to use him?
I would want to use him. I've used them for many years.
Who makes
but,
that decision?
Not me.
And then that other lady we had on the show too, she was on point too. She has a lab. You might use her
Megan
already.
Dobro, Safetiva.
Yeah. That's one of the two labs we're using moving forwards right now. Basically, the history was we worked at one lab. It was working out. There was no issues. They went out of business. We moved to another lab. There was a lot of issues. We moved again. Again, the logistics of this, you can't just keep switching labs every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
So-
the ones that
only so
are
many
going out of
labs.
business, they're probably going out of business because they're doing the right thing.
That's what sucks.
Yes and no. Yes,
the
probably, but
consensus,
also some of them doing the wrong thing. It goes both ways. I
But
know
if
one of
Yeah,
them.
but in this industry, it sounds like if you're doing the right thing,
Yeah.
you're succeeding.
Yes,
But
there's a big element of that.
This is
Look
lies.
at that head. How about that, dude?
Yeah.
This
That's
lies my
impressive.
biggest problem with the whole testing thing in general, because now so now this guy gives you a 42%, right?
get
Now
that
you're
thing on
getting ripped up on Reddit for it, right?
Yeah.
Now when push comes to shove, at the end of the day, if somebody, a third party looking out from the outside in, they can't even tell if there was foul play. They can't even you can't even point a finger at anybody at this point, really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
I
why
mean-
that's why I'm like, why isn't the lab picking the sample, right? Because now if the lab comes to you, picks the sample, right? And now you as the guy, now you can explain to the guy on Reddit, like, yo, I don't pick the sample. I don't pre-doctor my sample. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
do nothing.
but-
The lab comes here. Now if the lab, because now all these lab people want to fucking, they're after their own interest. They want to make money. So they feel by inflating or doing whatever they're doing
Yeah,
is
yeah.
going to get them more business. Now you kind of put the brakes on that, because it's like, now all the liability's on the lab because the lab picked the sample.
But-
So now if they start inflating,
It's still going to be the same result to me.
it's still on the lab.
But
Now you can point the finger.
what they really need to do is make a standard. There's no standard right now, so every lab has their own interpretation of how it's supposed to work and what calibration system they're using, what systems, and there's a million different ways to do it, and they all do it differently, and that's really, to me, the biggest issue. I would like all the labs to do the same standard, the same thing, and then
So you're talking about like every lab gets the sample and preps it this way. Every lab uses this solution. Every lab uses this machine.
Yeah, they're not even using the same kinds of machines. Some labs are taking completely different approaches.
No, it's completely different. It's like
So-
it's like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, and some labs offer two different kinds and are messing with things to do what you want. You know what I mean? To get the results you're looking for. Like, that's part of the nonsense.
What's going on over there, Ricky?
Ricky's trying to get it. Ricky's trying to set a world record ash record with a cigar over there instead of wrecking the
Fucking
house.
made a mess. I'm sorry, this fucking
No,
guy. At least he's not burning the microphone tonight.
No, so
Usually
where do you
that
see
happens.
this all going with the testing and the labs and all this bullshit? Do you see it improving, or is it just going to get deeper?
Not until there's regulations. You can't do shit.
What I see most hopefully is just the consumer no longer valuing THC.
That's
Like-
what I would love.
Like, if I didn't have to put it on a label, if it was up to me and we didn't have to, just not put it on the label. You
I
can look
would
it
have
up online.
had no problem smoking that weed with no label on it. I would
saying.
have been all set.
Just buy our organic living soil weed.
As long
Like,
as I'm not getting arsenic.
Yeah, but you know what the problem in this industry is?
Well,
It's like when somebody already likes what they smoke, it's tough to take them away from it.
Well, they like to smoke the $5.
That's the problem.
There's
There's so many choices, but people that are smoking have been smoking for a long time. It's tough to like. They're gonna go somewhere. They might go over here because it's convenient because they didn't bring their own shit. But for the most part, people that smoke already have their own shit, and they're always gonna go to their own shit.
Yeah.
So everybody's catering to people that don't know shit about weed and what they're smoking, and they don't care. And you can educate them as much as you want. At the end of the day, people are gonna smoke because you know what? This is fucking $10, right? And they don't
Yeah.
care. They're all about getting high.
yeah.
That's the problem in this industry. We talk about regulating it. Yeah, it should be regulated to be clean, but people that are gonna fucking smoke, they're gonna smoke what they already fucking like.
Well, this is the problem. I'm not even a big fan of testing. I don't buy my weed by that. But the fact of the matter is that there's businesses and corporations that think that weed's okay to be on the shelf for the year to give it to the consumer. But you know as well as I did, if you were back in the day and you had a bag of weed and you were carrying it on you know what I'm saying? 1 hour in a hot car, that fucking weed is junk.
Yeah.
So here you allow these corporations to just pump and fuel based off this THC number, this high thing that's pretty much inflated. So now they can just lie to every single fucking customer. Meanwhile, they're not worried about storing it.
Because
They're
they
not
know
scrubbing
nobody-
their air.
Yeah.
The fucking thing's all molding up. It's fucking a year later. They pull it out of their vault that was at
Because the
85
majority of
degrees.
people don't know and don't care. And guess what? Because you're buying it at the store, it automatically is okay. As long as it gets them fucking high, right? That's all they give a fuck about.
Yeah, but they're
So to me,
misleading
everything
them.
else is everything else is fucking trash. It's
I
fucking
think
bullshit.
these guys need a dispensary. You know,
No, they're
that's the-
doing fine. They're blowing out their batch exactly what you should. Say you sold weed back in the day. You just didn't start and be like, yeah, I'm going to buy 500 pounds. I'm going to start selling weed.
Well-
no, you bought like maybe a QP because you knew a couple people that wanted an ounce. And then that led to like, no, let me go get a half P now or a P. And then you only met your demand. You were only keeping that weed for like a week or two.
Yeah,
or
but
else.
if you changed your shit, right? If you changed your shit and you bought it from a different dealer, do you think your fucking customers are going to give a fuck?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, like back in the day, the most important thing about buying weed was who am I buying it from?
They know.
And it's the same thing with the legal market. Like people go in, they want to shop tack, they want to shop name. You shouldn't look at the names on the menu. You really look at the names after you decided who you're buying it from. Like I sold weed
That's the
most of my
hardest
life.
part.
You got to go with the person that provides you with the good weed. Like, and then you go from their menu. Like you don't just walk into the spot and be like, I like apples and bananas, so let me just find apples and bananas on the menu.
I like Barbie.
It's going to taste 20 different ways.
You're gonna get fucked because you're gonna buy it from anyone. And it's like,
And that's the thing. You're exactly correct. You're making my point. People don't give a fuck. They're gonna buy it for fucking convenience.
Yeah.
They don't care that it's fucking moldy.
Do
don't
they
care
not
about
give a
fucking
fuck, or do
anything
they
else.
haven't even been given the option to give a fuck?
well, I think the average.
No, they
consumer
haven't
does it.
been. You're right. They don't have the fucking option because they automatically think it's fucking okay because it's being fucking sold.
Yes.
And everybody thinks, oh, it's regulated and all that shit. It's not fucking regulated because we already discussed the fucking regulations of fucking
Right, they
ass.
test for 9
They're
pesticides.
bullshit.
You could
And-
use fucking 100 other ones.
Yeah, and I mean you're self-submitting these samples, like you said. So who knows what?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not. Nothing's fucking regulated.
Someone could take our
Except the fucking
I'm literally
taxes.
worried at times that companies take our jars from the dispensary and just enter it as their shit.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean? It's clean.
I
Like,
don't
it's
get
gonna
this.
pass,
You
like-
pick your own sample. I've never seen a fucking Olympic qualifying meet where each fucking runner has their own stopwatch and fucking runs a race and is like, yeah, this is my time.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
submits their own drug test.
If that's the case,
Like,
fucking Rob will be doing 40s and
Then what's
3.8.
the whole point of testing? Just do away with the whole fucking thing and let people judge by the scent and the quality of the weed.
That's what
while
the
they
fuck's
buy it.
happening right now.
Then you would steer them into this way.
But that's the people that are fucking running the industry are the people that don't know fucking shit.
Yeah.
No, corporate America's running the industry. It's all run by money, man.
Yeah, thank you for making my
Oh,
point.
that's wonderful. You know,
Thank you. You were paying attention over there.
I've been to a lot of these dispensaries, but I would buy. Let me see, your weed, Harbor House's weed. Those other. I like the organic stuff. I mean, you can taste it's very earthy. You guys make any
I like
rosin at all?
No, we're moving in that direction slowly.
There's a lot to that.
Yeah, I mean, we have a good guy on the team. We're going through the licensing process.
But the right genetics.
Oh yeah, I mean, the genetics that I personally make and hunt aren't necessarily for hash, but it's not a coincidence that a lot of them do hash.
Okay.
Like the Butterwolf is an extremely
Tasty.
it's super tasty. It yields.
Did you bring any of that with you?
The Butterwolf? No. Next time. That's,
Rob
selfish.
wants to jump on some
Rob right now is
media.
calling you selfish.
that one is just like that's the strain of mine that's kind of had the most momentum and the most legs. The Butterwolf. It's been around. A bunch of people grow it.
So how much canopy do you guys have?
We're like 6,500 square feet.
That's a lot of plants. A lot of work. How many guys you got working there?
Including the owner operators, our whole building, sales, marketing. I mean, we don't really have sales, but our whole team is 23 people. Six people in cultivation directly. We're a small team.
How do you like being in charge?
It's good. I have a very specific way.
Do you guys all like get on break and have a couple of bong hits?
I'm not sure. I can't say. What was the first question?
Rapid fire.
Yeah. No. Okay.
I created a custodian and maintenance role to try to take the pressure off the team, but it was a very hard position to keep filled. I had our asks are different from a regular maintenance role, like cleaning pots and so on. It's just like, it's extra.
What kind of water system do you have?
Nothing special. We have
Reverse osmosis? Or?
Oh no, just a carbon filter system, like a number of tall boy systems. So it's carbon filter, but not reverse osmosis. Like,
Because they want all the minerals and stuff in
Yeah,
it.
we
You just
don't-
want
you
to
don't-
strip the heavy metals.
yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You don't need to.
They go in living
That
soil
wastes a
like
lot of
crazy.
water, and we're not in hydroponics, so yeah, we have like a bigger buffer.
Yep.
So it's a simple,
There's a
very
lot more
simple
room
system.
there.
And we could take it back too, because we jumped all the way forward, and you were talking about how the ductwork was in the first facility. You've been in the weed game a while out here in Mass, right? Working your way up through the ranks, like.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I started as a cultivation tech at one of the first grows in the
I
state.
like that name, cultivation tech,
you know,
like with a pen
like-
pocket protector,
Yeah, exactly.
gumbo,
yeah.
lunchbox, the whole thing. Little bong in the lunchbox, you know what I'm saying? A little bag.
Glasses with the tape on it.
Yeah. No, cool. That's cool how you worked your way up, and now you're in charge of the whole thing.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's been awesome. I mean,
So you started at Patriot Care,
yep.
and then you've been to a few places before you ended up at Tower 3, right?
Yeah, so I was like designing and build. When I left Patriot, I helped on the design build out of a couple different places, and each one with the intention of staying there and running them. And I had
They just used you.
I ran into different issues and problems along the way, and some companies didn't make it, some did, but I
You got
basically fell
hosed.
through. I definitely got hosed a couple times.
This is
we all
A
do.
friend and I got
business.
really close to having a spot, and we didn't quite raise enough money. I spent a lot of time on that, and basically I got to a point where I'm like,
Fuck it.
I had been spinning my tires for years under the need to be like an ownership, and I just had to concede. And basically, at the time, no one was really growing in living soil, which is
Nobody was.
what I do
Fucking
outside of business. That's what I already do. So when Tower 3 came online, I'm like, I met these guys. I'd already studied, I seen exactly what they did. I looked up, I was looking at their social media and everything very closely. So when I met Mike, I'm like, you guys grow in the soil. You get it from here. You guys are doing
You knew everything about him.
I'm like, I can't believe you guys are doing this. Like huge props for bringing these practices to a market that's totally undeveloped and doesn't even understand the value that you're creating.
As an owner, though, if you have like a grower like yourself that wanted to be like a part owner, it's like honestly, you should almost get like a small piece of the business, whether it's 1 or 2%.
Yeah.
Because now you're
Totally.
you're invested, right, and you're gonna do
Especially
everything.
He's always
Yeah,
thinking about that
especially-
fucking money.
Listen, I'm telling you, it's all about the pay plans.
No.
You get
I
a good
respect
grower.
that.
It's not just pay him a salary because people get fucking lazy on a salary.
Hey,
But
pay
if you
him
pay
his
him
fucking
a
5 to
percentage of the
8%
business,
should be.
or you give him a small percentage of ownership,
Yeah.
whether it's 1 or 2%.
That's the foundation of the whole business. Is the grow room.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So I don't understand why these owners wouldn't want to give a fucking grower
fucking
after X
slippery.
amount of time a fucking percentage of the business.
No, that's-
and maybe it's not after a year or two, but maybe
Yeah,
after
yeah.
5 years,
I
you
think-
get 1% after X amount.
Yeah. I
I'll
think
put a
that's-
fucking pay plan together for you. Don't
No,
worry.
I know exactly.
Send me your owner's number, dude. I got
that is
this. I'll
that is
fucking
generally
negotiate for you.
that is generally how it goes. Whenever I've started with a company, like when you're with them from the start, that's always a piece of it. You know what I mean? This was sort of like, okay, my spot's not going to make it. I hit up these guys. I'm like, if there's ever an opportunity for leadership, you know what I mean? Let me know. And then we basically worked out a deal right away, very quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
And so,
you got to
yeah,
do it right away
and
because
so-
you can't do it as you're fucking going along. You got to be like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking show you what I got after fucking 3 years. This is what I want. After that,
Yeah, so
this is
yeah,
what I
exactly.
want.
So maybe there's a place for that.
Yeah,
you know?
well, they take all his
yeah, it has
techniques
to
and
be.
say, fuck
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, but a lot of these places figure a way to get rid of the growers. It's happened
They
time
take
and
their
time and
techniques.
time.
Yeah,
and
but I know,
think
but
they
then,
take
but
'em.
that's the thing, though. You should keep it as a fucking secret sauce, just like a fucking chef.
Well, it's kind of hard when you got everybody working
Yeah,
on
I
it
think
every day.
It
and
goes
they
both
see
ways
it.
with that. Like I know a lot
Rick.
of great growers that were too afraid to share anything they were doing to get out of their basement. Like they have this great strain, but they're like, this is my breadwinner. No one's ever going to see it. And I've seen people that were very successful and dynamic in the legacy market unable to make the transfer because it would have meant either
Giving
a
up.
Giving up your
financial,
secret
or an
recipe.
emotional
Attachment.
swallow. Like you have to like really like swallow your pride and like step back for a second to work it back up. You know what I mean? On the legal
Fuck
side.
that. I'm not
You got to
swallowing
give
my pride.
somebody like the keys
No
to your brand
fucking
new
way.
car.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like, hey, you think that was good? Give me a piece of the business. Wait until you see the other shit.
yeah.
Imagine,
Fuck that. You ain't stepping back on my pride. Fuck that.
imagine
Yeah.
there's a
I'm
time.
coming in fucking hot. Especially you now. You made a name for yourself, right?
Yeah.
So now it's like fucking, once you make a name for yourself, I think, hey, you want me? This is what the fuck it is. And that's
Yeah.
it, like in any fucking business.
Totally.
Well, I mean, Rick, there's only so much money there too. I mean, you're getting $40 a, you're selling
I don't
for
give a
$40.
fuck. I want a piece.
You know what I mean? It's
I want a piece because guess what? Maybe my shit will get you fucking 55.
it might.
There you
Maybe
go.
you'll yield
That's what
100
it is.
pounds of light too. You know what I mean?
He knows his value, right? And you're not gonna fucking you're not gonna fucking share the fucking owner, but you know what? Fucking you
well,
need a
what
piece.
What happens with this whole process, and we talked to a bunch of people about this, they get in there, a grower that knows what they're doing. He sees they see what's going on. They say, "Hey, I don't need this guy anymore. I'm going to bump him out and take the money for myself." You know what I mean? And that's what some of these guys do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
and they
such a
fall on their
small
face,
percentage.
Usually.
It's such a
Usually
fucking
they fall on their face.
idiot way of fucking thinking.
Yeah.
You got
Oh,
a
it's
guy that fucking
close-minded.
puts you totally. You have a guy that puts you on the fucking map, and then you fucking cut him out because you think you can follow
Happens
that
every
fucking
day.
process.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And then when you guys are growing, you say it like you're gonna make sometimes.
On the
You
fly.
said it. You said it earlier, right? You got a cruise ship. You're not turning that motherfucker on a fucking dime.
Yeah, you're not.
Right. It takes a lot of
Yeah,
work to
shit
turn
can
it.
go bad.
Same thing when you get your fucking plants and you're growing. Right. You see something going fucking astray. It's
yeah.
time to fucking bring it back in.
Oh yeah. I mean,
That can't be taught. That can't be
Yeah,
took
exactly.
in like a SOP fucking.
You can't
Yeah.
take fucking cheat. You can't take fucking cheat
and that's where
notes
they
on
fuck
it.
up when they get rid of the grower. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Yeah,
And-
give somebody a little money in their pocket. They think they know everything.
yeah, you need people that really know what's what if you want to be successful long term, and you have to be present too, because there's
And I guess
some
you
of
have
the
to have a
growers-
contract, right?
What was it?
You have to have a contract with these people, right? Or they just
yeah.
take advantage.
Yeah. I mean, trust. People get taken advantage of in this industry or in any industry, but I've seen it happen a lot in this industry, and I've definitely been taken advantage of. But I mean, it all works out. I think if you bring value to the table.
Well, you said it yourself.
Yeah, but you
People
can't fucking
promise
do
the
anything
world,
on a
and you got
fucking
squished a
handshake.
couple of times.
Yeah.
You know,
like
you
that.
got it a couple of times. You
Yeah.
helped them out, and then they fucked you.
Anyone I know who's successful in what they're doing
Has
now
got it a
was
few
fucked
times.
a few times on the way.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like if you-
Education, Rob, they call that, right?
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
you went to Harvard for a semester. You know what I mean? Because education costs money.
yeah.
But so do you really like the weed industry? Do you like growing the shit? You
Oh, yeah,
passionate about it?
I love it. On the worst day when I'm feeling terrible and I'm like, I really wish I was in a position where I could call out and just not be dependent on for so many decisions in this moment. And then I get there and I'm like, that being said, I fucking love this shit. Like,
How are you? You
I
love it?
I love it so much. Like, I go home from that place and I grow weed elsewhere. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I barely have time. I struggle to be an adult because I spend all my time growing weed in various
No, it's
places.
nothing
Yeah, but I
wrong
don't think
with
you'll
that.
ever find a grower that doesn't feel that type of passion.
Yeah, or not one that. There's a certain magnetic attraction to this plant. There's a reason our coevolution is older than we are. You know what I mean? Like, there's something to that. I don't know.
Thousands of
It's
years.
probably why a lot of relationships
Thousands.
fucking fail. You must be a grower.
Oh yeah,
You show your plants way more love than you do me.
yeah. I mean,
Well,
definitely.
you fucking like the Hal and Kumar movie when he's doing the weed bag.
It definitely will cause divorce.
Remember that part?
In my experience, it causes divorce.
You do more
but-
foreplay with your plants than you do me.
You know, I mean, yeah. I don't know what to say about it, but agreed.
So how are you perfecting, like when you have a strain and you're growing it, right? What are like the 5 things that you get a new strain and what are you looking for when you in a plant?
Mouth coat flavor.
Flavor.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. I don't care about anything else. The other shit, I'll try and reverse engineer. Like, if it tastes amazing, I'll try to find a way to grow it. And usually the best tasting ones, like that tea time, that's the worst plant to grow.
It's hard to grow.
So hard. I couldn't think of a harder plant to grow. The plant
Why
is so
is it like
stupid.
What made it so hard?
It's tiny. It doesn't want to root. It's super slow. It's a Z forward expression. So if you know, like, growers know Z, and it's incredibly difficult. Z is prone to mold. It's has a very weird moisture. Like,
It's a weird one.
it's like soft. If it's at all wet, it's soft to the point where it's like unsmokable and like
so you
mushy.
really gotta
and
watch
then
the
it's like
water?
brittle on the other
Like a
side.
fucking weed.
It's an awful plant physically, but it's an amazing aroma. So like,
Okay, this is this is the magic milk. Is this one of your strains?
no, that's from High Grade Herb. He's
Okay.
a Massachusetts space grower and breeder.
I've heard this guy's name passed
really
around
good
a little
guy.
bit.
Lot of clone only elites like brought together.
This is on point, and it tastes good.
Yeah, I mean,
You guys took a little while to figure this out, like
yeah,
what the right storage and what it
logistics
was
took
you
time.
want it to get out. Because there's billion-dollar companies that invested hundreds of millions of dollars tweaking their recipe, like alcohol companies and soda companies, and
Yeah.
to figure out when it's going to actually get to the customer and how it's going to taste. Like,
exactly. Yeah, no, that's part of it. I mean,
people don't think, they just think like all these people who ran into this business is like, yeah, we're going to grow a bunch of weed and throw it in a jar and sell it, man. Like,
yeah, no, it's hard, and it's harder than you think. Like, I've gone through it a few times where you think where your product is good when it's packaged, you know, and then when it gets to the consumer, it's not.
So you guys have gone through this and changed it up.
Yeah, I mean those jars. That's like a custom glass jar.
These
It's our
jars
own-
are
That's our
expensive.
own mold. Yeah. We had a mold made, and you know we wanted to make the switch to glass. We had a plastic jar before that had like a seal. It had like an inner seal that was supposed to keep it fresh, but like, and to a certain extent it did. But overall, it was a fail, and things sit on the shelf longer than I would like. Especially at that time, we didn't have the logistics side of the sales portion as dialed as we do now. So there was more jars out there that were older and sitting in those plastic jars in people's random goofy vaults. In our vault is temperature and humidity controlled, so it probably wouldn't be an issue. But sitting some weird stores, goofy setup,
80-degree back
and
room.
not good. Especially to me, like, you really want weed fresh. I want to smoke weed that's 2 months old maximum.
this still tastes
Greater
pretty
than that.
fucking
No,
good.
not that weed can't exist beyond that,
Right.
but and we do everything we can to preserve it. But I think like curing, there's so much emphasis on cure. I think what we're really talking about is drying. Drying weed is really important. Curing weed was like, we harvested weed and needed to keep it all year. So like finding ways to preserve it for a year was very important. And there's all kinds of tradition and different means of doing that. Now we grow weed indoors. We harvest 8, 9, 10 weeks. For us, it's 10 weeks. But let's say, I think weed is at its freshest point I think there's like some sort of rhythm to nature, right? So 10 weeks to 10 weeks to flower, 10 weeks off the plant, and then 10 weeks of freshness.
That sounds about
And then that's
right.
it.
Everything that's that theory, 3.33. That
That's like-
everything divides by that.
So to me, that's like the maximum. That's sort of the timing of it, and it's no coincidence that the time it takes to grow it is the same time it takes to expire. So basically, if I keep growing in a cycle, I can have it fresh every time. You know what I mean? Without even multiple rooms. Like I just feel like
if it's stored properly, you can keep this shit for
yeah,
9 months, and it's still like it gets better.
strain depending. But yeah, I like weed fresh. But certain strains, especially if you're going to nitrogen seal or seal in a very tight container in a controlled environment and very cold environment, there are ways to preserve it for longer. But I think in modern society, with all of the technology and amenities that we have, 10 weeks.
2 months.
I think it's important that it's dried properly. Now, the problem with all these spots is they want a wet trim because they want to put it through a machine. And to put it through a machine, it goes through a lot easier and more efficiently if it's wet. And then you just ruin the dry. And you damage all the trikes and everything, but the main thing you needed to do was dry it slowly before you did anything else.
You guys hand trim?
We hand trim, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Full plant, hang dry, hand trim. I could tell you every step of our formula. Other people won't do it, not because they can't, just because it takes longer and
They want the money quicker.
Efficient. Yeah, exactly.
They can't wait. There's no pleasing them. You know what I'm saying?
No, because they made all this fucking investment. They want some of their fucking money
Here's
back.
why,
Exactly.
Rick. Because they're behind the
100%.
8 ball with the investors screaming at them.
It's exactly right. Like when you invest your first fucking dollar, how long does it fucking actually take in this industry to make a fucking dollar back?
I don't know
the
about
dollar
this
that you can
industry.
put on your fucking wall or your fucking dispensary
In
or anything else that
Massachusetts?
says, hey, we made our first dollar, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first dollar that was
we
fucking
actually
profit.
made.
Some of these guys are
years.
5 years in.
Sometimes it's used just to take in
Fucking
revenue.
10 years.
The
Take in revenue
permits.
at all. It's 3 years, 2 to 3 years to take in any revenue.
That's what I'm saying. This industry is
One
so
of these
fucked,
growing-
dude. So why the fuck when I want to go buy it from fucking Johnny that's growing it in his basement? Because I've been fucking buying it for fucking ever from him.
And
Yeah,
I
if you
feel
can,
great.
you should. If you have a good traditional method of purchasing, I don't think anyone needs to disrupt that. It's like for me, at what we make available is for people that don't have a plug anymore or never did.
Right.
But like I'm not trying to pull anyone from legacy if that's where they are. If you're comfortable where you buy your weed, you know what I mean. We're not growing that much weed. We don't need everyone.
6,000.
I'm just saying, if
6,000,
you're
you know what I
on the
mean?
market, legal market, trying to buy some weed in Massachusetts, we got that at Thrive over there on 44 in Middleborough.
What's
I
this-
would get Tower 3.
What's this?
It's fresh.
These are in.
It burns smooth.
What dispensaries
it
are you
tastes
guys
good.
in?
We're in a bunch of dispensaries.
Yeah.
We can look that up.
Yeah, it's on our
close,
website. Like the front of our website, because I get asked this a lot, and
guys
it
are out of
comes up on
Taunton.
Reddit all the time. And so basically, now on the front of our website, we'll have like a list of
Where to
Fancy
find?
where it's dropped in the last 2 weeks, so you know where to get it fresh.
So obviously, with this
I
good
like
product,
that.
you have a good following. You must have a good following.
Yeah. We don't.
And you figured out how to keep it fresh, not have it left over, and
you sell out.
keeping it
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, and I think that's rare. There's not really waste. We sell out before the next harvest. We're continuing to evolve and do better. Like we are not sitting around complacent in what we're doing. Like
No, you're trying to make it better.
yeah, I mean, constantly. So I think
You guys gonna
hopefully the
add?
market continues to improve.
You guys gonna add on space, or you gonna?
One day maybe there's room for us to have a little bit more space, but like not right away. Our next thing will be to add some solventless hash to our offerings.
Because I think you have a distinct advantage if you have a dispensary. Because we had those guys on, and they were concerned about the grow too, and they
Yeah.
have the dispensary. You lose they're doing more things because they lose. They don't have to pay the percentage from the middleman.
Right.
But
Yeah, I think
it shows you how good their product is, though, that they don't have a retail and they're able to sell out every run and
Yeah, I
keep
think
fresh product to the consumer.
there's
Stay focused. And
I have a different model that if the right place came to be for retail
You're in it.
that we've talked about, but it's not crucial. There's a certain disadvantage once you get involved in retail. You don't get the same brand building awareness and visibility because you start to focus on all of your weed being sold by your store, because your store makes you so much more money than selling it anywhere else. And it sort of becomes limiting. Whereas for us, we're trying to have an even spread across the state. You know, we're trying to make sure any area that you're in, if you like Tower 3, you can go to a store there and have a menu that has a decent offering of what we have to offer. You know what I mean? And hopefully consistently without too big of gaps.
Tower3.com.
Tower 3 LLC.
LLC.com.
Yeah. Rob will plug it.
It's taken a bit of time to get all the pieces like really dialed in, but I think we're in a really good place now, and we'll continue to try to improve on that.
And this is a case to like show consumers that if you're out there buying by highest THC, you're probably not getting the best product, you know, and you're buying all wrong. This is an example where that
Perfect example.
The THC number does not matter. It matters about freshness, the quality of the company that you're buying it from, the care they take, the grower, the attention to the detail with the packaging, the drying it, like.
And where they're getting it tested.
The high pressure sodium lights growing with those versus growing with the LEDs. What do you think about that in the spectrum? And is it better quality? A lot of guys say it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think we grow under HPS.
Okay.
You're HPS?
Yeah, we're HPS. We have one LED room that we just converted very recently. Our first LED harvest was today. Actually, today.
How did it do?
It was fire. I mean, there's room for improvement because to install those lights, we're on our cycle is already slower than most. So
slowed it down a little bit more.
I can't slow it down anymore.
Yeah.
This is it. I'm already slow.
Yeah.
So in order to put up those lights, we lost about a week in that room. So I had to plan to grow strains in that room that would be conducive to a 9-week cycle, which is not something that we generally do.
So you guys switched from HPS to LED?
For one room. We have 5 rooms.
Yeah.
One room is now LED. I like growing under HPS. I firmly believe that LED is better.
That's the best.
There's just the amount of heat that you're putting off of
ridiculous.
HPS is burning some of the things that you want to keep, and also just the spectrum there's so much wider of a spectrum, and that's just going to lead to a wider spectrum of expression from the plant. So the LED lights that I got have 2 far red,
bloom
2
mode.
different far red spectrums, a green, a white. And we got UV bars, which I don't know anyone in the commercial industry running. UV is what makes your skin tan.
Okay.
And that's what the plant
Gets the radiation
experiences under the
from?
sun. Yeah, and so this is what your skin responds to color, and it dramatically changes the coloration and trichome production, resin production in the plant. So this is the first room I've been able, outside of work, this is what I use.
Does too much UV fuck up the plant?
It could. They say that it does, but I haven't found that I have never run enough UV to hurt a plant. But like most people, like the studies and the companies all promote it as running it for a short part of the day or cycle, and people have different theories. I'll run it full. I mean, if you think about the sun, it's full
You
run.
fucking got it nuking.
You got
sunglasses on.
I swear to
fucking
God.
giving your fucking plants fucking
tell you
skin
what,
cancer.
After seeing what UV did to plants, I started going tanning.
So you believe in the charge?
No
like
shit.
these,
I believe in UV.
No shit.
I believe in UV. I'm like, yo, this is great. Like, I honestly, like, get too much is definitely everything in moderation, right? And I probably even tan more than I should. I smoke too much pot, but like, I believe in UV, and it makes a huge difference on plants. It also has microbial advantage.
Okay.
It has a pest pathogen advantage, but like, it's literally looks like black lights. When I turn off the other lights in the room
Really?
and turn on the UV, it's literally all glowing and purple.
must be
No
so
shit.
cool.
You're gonna show
pretty
up one
cool.
morning. You're gonna have an employee in a fucking Speedo under the fucking lamp.
I've had that happen anyway.
You're pushing the edge. That's people say that the HPSs are the best.
I think that it used to be. LEDs have come a long way.
Take us through your first plant you grew.
First plant
Your
I grew was
brother.
grapefruit.
Grapefruit.
It was a cutting that
That's coming back right now too. Grapefruit, like they're crossing it with hazes and all that shit.
I'm hunting grapefruit F4 and grapefruit F5, going for that original nostalgic grapefruit. But it was a grapefruit plant. I grew 5 of them in a swamp with my little brother. After
In a swamp?
Yeah, after living in New York and after 9/11, my family moved to Connecticut. And I finished high school in Connecticut, and my brother and I grew weed everywhere we could. At that point, people grew weed like there are people that grew weed normal ways, but as kids, like we would see
you gotta
online
hide that
guerrilla
shit.
growing, people growing weed up in trees. You'd like drill a pot into a branch, or in this case, we like made like a stage almost in this tall grass in a swamp, and we grew these plants there. We just watered them literally every day all summer. We'd walk there, you know. And
Hope for the best.
my brother, by the time he was in 6th grade, he was growing weed on deserted little mini islands off of I-95 from a canoe.
Dude, your
Nice.
fucking
And-
brother's a go-getter.
Oh, he was crazy.
He's getting after it.
He would pull down whatever 20, 30 plants on an island and dry them in some kid's shed and sell them to people in New York City. You know what I mean?
Oh, he was fucking getting after
rugged.
it.
So is he still doing it
Wheeling
now?
and dealing.
No, he's he passed away.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, he went to jail for
Real
cannabis
nice, Rick.
charges and
No.
not being able to stay out of trouble, and became a drug addict, and just
Oh,
never.
that's
But listen,
sad, man.
that's how you became
Oh, absolutely.
who you are.
Paved the way for me. I try to carry the torch.
Absolutely.
Um,
Well, you're doing a great job. I'm pretty sure he's looking down proud.
Yeah, thank you. I like to. I
that's
like to
too
feel
bad.
that. You know, it's Earth's not an easy place for anyone.
And that's the other side of fucking the industry where marijuana's looked so down on so many people for so long that it's ruined so and touched so many people's lives. Like there's still people in jail, and there's like fucking I think it was like $36 billion last year in the U.S. in legal sales.
Yeah, the whole thing.
You know, like there's still people like serving 50, 60-year sentences for weed.
Yeah, it's affected a lot of lives. It affected a lot of
You know,
people's
in your case,
friendship, families, relationships. So, I mean,
Well, it was always known as the gateway drug to everything else.
yeah,
Right.
fuck that.
But now how fucking
Booze.
wrong? But how fucking wrong is everybody on that? You're right. Booze is the same
broke
thing.
into Dick Easton's, Dan Monte's mother's liquor cabinet in like fourth grade. That
I
was
think,
the
like,
first thing.
altered states is a part
Booze.
of the human experience. Okay, like everything in moderation to some extent. So I think like it's
some of that
no,
weed.
and culturally, like people
magic
put
Mike.
drugs on a platform,
little.
on a pedestal. So it's like,
Well, it's the same thing with mushrooms, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Psychedelics, you know.
Yeah.
You got somebody that fucking goes off the fucking chain, and you know it's like, oh, they took a mushroom, and that fucking scares the shit out of everybody. It's like, you know, you knew somebody that was normal, all of a sudden they took a fucking hit of mushroom, and now they're fucking all fucked up, but they're technically already fucked up. A mushroom got the fucking blame, so now it's like, I'll be honest with you, I was always fucking scared of mushrooms. I was like, fuck that, I'll do anything else but fucking mushrooms.
yeah, but
man.
mushrooms will bring you so much balance to most people too. Like it goes the other way.
Nothing really scares Rob.
What?
You know what?
Yeah,
Dude,
Mushrooms are wonderful.
I should give some of this to Ross
I've
in a
probably
test.
taken mushrooms
he's got
10
the
times in my
machine,
life, the most. But I can remember
fuck
the
you, I
walls
don't fucking
melting.
believe that.
Yeah, I mean,
I love that.
I take the over on that one.
same.
You know, I was swimming one time. The water was purple. It was like I was tripping balls, man. And I was all swimming, and everything. It was great.
Yeah, I think it has a place for a lot
Relax,
of people.
Moses.
Yeah,
Hey,
I love
My
mushrooms.
boy was planting the seeds after I fucking ate the fucking mushrooms.
Oh,
he's having a flashback.
Rick, thinking about the sea, I would like to see you and your boat on the sea.
Yeah,
I
when's
need
this
your
gonna
help.
hit the water,
I
Rick?
need your help.
Is this the SS Minnow?
Have you
I need
worked
your
on
help.
it at all?
What's that?
Have you worked on it at
No.
all?
Yeah,
No.
What did you do?
I cleaned it out.
We want.
God.
Baby steps.
So you got all sorts of trim pieces missing. Why did Chris give you that boat?
You can't
Rose?
see him in the water.
It's a nice
You're
boat.
fine.
It's a beautiful boat.
You're not making it to the water this year.
Want to bet?
We got an over/under on it. We're not telling you what it is though, because we don't want you to. We want the natural course of things to take place.
I think it's a nice boat. I mean, I get that gas out of it and start it up. I've been dying to. I've been waiting for the call.
We got a launch date is the over/under. But
January 6th.
we're
gonna be a nice
I gotta
break.
get it in there so I don't lose my mooring.
We're gonna name this thing the iceberg.
It's gonna be an icebreaker.
All right, let's bring it back, dude. Fuck the boat.
Rick's boat, the
Fucking bring it
iceberg.
back.
I
Bring it
want to
back.
talk about this boat.
Let's bring it back here.
What I've been trying to tell people is that like we're in the I think I said this last time, right? We're in the TV dinner era of cannabis where people are like, "Oh my god, you can grow weed in a factory. That's incredible." And then everyone kind of like that's settled and everyone's like, "I don't actually
this is-
think I want to buy weed from a factory." Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, oh, the TV dinner, like we can sit in front of
give
our
me
new
a Swanson.
television set.
But that goes back to people and convenience.
Swanson.
If you're fucking going on a road trip, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fucking Google the next fucking closest dispensary. You're gonna fucking stop. You're gonna
that's
go
not
grab
how
a
it's
bunch
done,
of
Rick.
fucking pre-rolls, and that's what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Rick, that's not how
that's
it's
not
done.
how
I'm telling you,
Someone,
bro.
no, people are, but the people
I'm
that buy,
telling you, a fucking dad that's in the fucking car, he's got
Not
his
how
fucking
it's
kid
done.
screaming and shit
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. He's gonna pull over for
We're not
gas.
pulling up
He's
weed
gonna
maps,
pull over
Rick.
the fucking next dispensary.
Rick, I'm bringing my shit with me on
No,
the
it's-
road.
What?
I'm
just
bringing
depends
my
who you
stuff
are.
with me.
Yeah, people that care about
Yes.
pot a lot, the people that probably bother to buy pot from Tower 3 are people that are going to purposely buy that weed. There's most consumers, though, are going to buy weed from the closest dispensary, whatever they have. For me, I would like to think, like, if you're in the North Shore, South Shore, Central Mass, there's somewhere, hopefully, you have access to our product if you care.
Awesome. Tower 3 kicks ass. Fucking more power to Tower 3.
Thanks
You know,
for coming
Thank
on,
you.
James.
Yeah, I
this was
appreciate you
fucking
guys.
dope.
Thank you.
There's a lot of dispensaries. I would go out of my way to buy your weed. Like we had Corey on. He was good.
Yeah, he's really
Those
good.
other guys were good.
Yep.
Yeah, they were good.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, both those
But
spots they have are weed, not
I don't know, man. I think the natural dirt is the way to grow it.
Oh, and Chelsea at Harbor House,
Harbor House, Native Son. Yeah.
Native Sun, yeah,
But-
all their spots, yeah.
Natural dirt is the best way, and I bet you a lot of these other people that are doing it, once they go, wow, looking at these guys are doing it, maybe we're gonna try it. But you
Yeah.
got to get the right formulation.
I mean, it's the easiest way to grow good pot. Other people will do it. The problem is that it's slower and more risky.
And you've smoked a lot of weed throughout your time. In your personal opinion, right? Nobody seems to like to answer this question, but in your personal opinion, do you think better weed's grown in the soil than cocoa and with
Yeah.
salt newts?
I think,
do you
look-
think it's a higher quality of weed, like, scotches and,
Yeah,
aged in single malt? Like, do you think, like,
Yeah, I think it's a higher art.
It's
and
a
I think
tier.
it's an easier approach and a more direct approach to great cannabis. I think great cannabis can be grown otherwise, but it requires a lot of nuance and understanding and a lot of experience to do it any other way. I think you could get away with doing it with a lot less nuance and a lot less precision in soil. And I think it's the best way, and it's the way if I'm buying weed and it's my choice, that's what I want to see.
that's what I'm saying. In the jar, what do you think?
But, like-
Soil grown or newts, cocoa?
Oh yeah, I'm going soil
Rockwell.
all day, but I'm going grower before I pick soil. Before I pick media, I'm picking
Yeah.
grower.
Yeah.
Like there's some OGs that I would take their salt grown weed
Right.
over random kids' soil grown weed,
Right.
or even
Right.
other businesses' soil grown weed that I may not
Right.
prefer. I mean,
I
again,
just find in my personal experience, like, soil always
That's what I'm
tastes
looking
the
for.
best to me.
Where do
That's
you
what I'm
find
on.
yourself with these OGs?
what do you mean?
Like, were you right there with them?
I mean, I have a lot of respect to those who came before me, and
No
I
humble
think-
pie. Let
I
it
think-
out.
I think my weed is competitive though. Like I'll put it up against anybody's weed anywhere.
That's what I wanted to hear.
You know what I mean? Like
Rick
right
Like
now,
likes
these weed
that.
off.
Yeah, fuck off. Yeah, that's right.
you know, there's no. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
No, your weed's good. I mean, if I didn't like it, I would tell you.
No, I appreciate it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause
There's people that like again.
gotta
I would
pick your grower.
I would pick a grower before I would pick the media. I
That's a
would
good
hope that my
point.
favorite grower grows in soil, but some of my favorite growers always grew with salts or high. The
So is
hybrid
this
mix.
industry going to turn into like fucking chefs? It's all
Yeah.
about who the fucking grower
it
is.
is already chess.
Well, you.
Chefs, Rob.
I mean, I think like
Chess.
you see more and more.
Chef.
These places-
CHEF.
Yeah, yeah. You see more and more people highlighting the grower, and even these corporate spots that were just really wanted to put the grower in the dark and make it about their brand image. More and more are now like, oh,
So these guys, so in a $1 billion industry, right?
yeah,
Right. Think about think about a fucking sports team, right? The grower is the fucking star athlete on the fucking team. He's got to get fucking paid.
honestly,
He's got to be the
here
first
we go
one
again
fucking
with the
paid.
money.
yeah. I mean, I see. Honestly, I do feel like it's sort of like
Yeah, you got to
athletes
get
at
paid.
times.
You got to make the fucking first dollar. You got to get fucking paid,
Listen to Mama Boo Boo Day over there.
you got to get paid.
right? I'm fucking telling you, this industry needs to fucking grow the fuck up.
Can't be
No,
stealing
pay
the
the
putty,
fucking
Rick.
attention.
Yeah, no, I mean that.
You got,
stay
everyone
on
wants
the
to
putty.
fucking. Everybody wants to educate the consumer.
Yeah.
The consumer's high half the fucking time. How the fuck are you gonna educate a fucking consumer that's fucking high half the time?
All you
I gotta
He's
go pick
already
up my
fucking
wash
high. You're like,
machine.
oh, try my shit.
Yeah.
They're not gonna fucking know the difference.
Yeah. Well, also teaming with Terps. If people want to find you, you on IG.
Yeah, so my Teaming with Terps account is gone.
Shut down.
Searching for Sulfur is my personal account.
Okay.
Searching for Sulfur. I know it's a mouthful. I'm an idiot. And then Tower 3.
Tower 3.
Yeah, Tower 3
You gotta spell
LLC.
that out.
Tower3LLC.com.
Trevor, did you tour the facility?
No. Why you want to tour?
I'd like to.
Yeah, you guys should come by. I'm there.
You know, I'll bring my
all the
clown
time.
suit. You know,
Perfect.
my little white thing, my little booties.
Oh yeah, we have them. We have all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'd like to see it. I'd like to see how you guys are watering and your temperatures and your humidities.
So where you guys out of?
We're in Taunton.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
You guys got good
Hey,
product,
the water
man.
over there is fucked up, so you guys gotta be careful over there.
I
You gotta
get
get fucking crunchy water
yeah.
over there. I fucking live there. I know.
Thanks for coming on, James. This was fucking great. Your
James, you're the man.
Tower
Appreciate it.
3 is
Thank
putting
you.
out good
Appreciate it.
product.
Thank you for having me.
If people haven't tried it, they should try it.
Tower 3. More power to Tower 3.
Power to fucking Trevor's fucking wife beater.
I didn't even put a shirt on.
Yeah, Trevor,
I
what's
didn't
up with
realize
that
it
wife
was
beater
halfway through
anyway?
the
What
show.
is going on with that fucking
Yeah,
attire?
what's up with that?
Dude,
We're
that's
gonna need a
wrap,
fucking
James.
dress code.
Thank
we
you,
need
guys.
a fucking
Wait a
dress
minute, Lee's
code
got a
over
wife beater on too.
there. Yeah.
Fuck it. When in Rome.
Jesus
Wanna do
Christ,
pictures
you got his
so you
fucking
can pick up
nipples
your
fucking
fucking
hanging out
washing
and shit.
machine?
Yeah, man.
Rob's gonna get his washing
coming on.
machine.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate it.
Wake up in the morning, got a bag on my schedule. Niggas talking, bitches talking, they is not on my level. Check the time, wrist, rollie, rose gold on the bezel. Grab my keys and get my cell and hit the door with a shovel. It's time to get it out the mud, 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 out the mud. It's time to get it.